Welcome to another edition of Digital by Design. Did I say that right? Okay, perfect. Now we can move forward. But today I'm really excited because I'm joined by somebody that I consider a good friend, a mentor, someone that has actually, helped me be who I am today. Tom Heusing, welcome, my friend. I'm very, very happy that you're here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Frank. Thank you. And thank you for the kind words. Very nice to hear. Thank you.
No, thank you. But again, you flew all the way out to California, and I've been trying to call you and say, hey, come down. And to be honest with you, what's really cool about it is that, you finally came down, and now I have you for at least 3 hours. So this podcast might be going for a long time, but so like I said, man, we have a lot to talk about because like I said, we do have a lot of history together.
Yes,
and it's kind of exciting. I mean, to be honest with you, my first, introductory to digital dentistry kind of came, meeting you.
Yeah.
And that goes like way back, but you actually go even further, which was kind of cool, right? A lot of people ask me, how did I get into dentistry, right? Mm-hmm. How did you get into dentistry?
Family owned a dental lab and they needed a sales rep.
That's awesome.
So that's where I started.
And how hard was that working for a family?
I think it's a good thing because it's just another lesson in life that you learn, both good and bad, that you pick up along the way. And I had an excellent uncle that was a mentor to me there, and he mentored me in sales. And I think he gave me a book actually one time, and I still have it actually at home on my bookshelf in my library.
Your library of books, audiobooks.
I think it's excellent. The Sales Excellence. I think it's a little blue book, and it was really nice because he wrote a little thing in it and sold it to me.
Gave it to me,
sold it to me, gave it to me, and it had little quotes in it, and that was really the start of it all. And calling on doctors for the business, it was very.
It's an adventure.
That is a very. I think doing it today, it's a whole nother level, of course.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, 100%, because if we have that in common, right? When I first started, my dad, he owned a laboratory, and one of the things that he wasn't, I'm not going to sit there and say that he wasn't good at it, because as a guy that didn't really even speak the language, right? I mean, I've never seen somebody just roll into offices as a kid. When I was 16 years old, he would roll into offices, and the next thing you know, he's just like, walking in with his little model, and he's just closing deals left and right, right? And I remember when I turned 16 years old, he was always telling me like, hey, you're going to be out there, you like to talk, you like to do this, so I want you to, take that on. What do I know about selling anything, right?
You learn.
Yeah. And that's
you learn, and you learn how to approach people.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, that was back when Dicor just came out, and that was a one-piece castable ceramic, and it was Dicor and Cerastore were the two coming out, and they had taken that on.
And were you selling? That's what you were selling?
That was the door opener.
Oh, really?
That was the door opener, and it was good.
Now, did you know that you wanted to be in sales, or was it kind of like the opportunity kind of came because of the family lab?
I think, no, I didn't. I didn't, but I've always somewhat of a people person where, I don't know. And that's just kind of, and I did other things before that, but that was into dentistry. And I've only been fortunate where I've only had in all these years 4 positions, 4 different companies, and which is an anomaly all its own today.
Yeah. So, I mean, even for laboratory, right? Like, if you think your experience, the experiences that you've had throughout the years in the 4 companies that you've had, and you go all the way back to, I guess, trying to grow a laboratory.
Yeah.
Would you say, would you say it's kind of hard to grow a laboratory? Or if you were able to, let's say, get the experience that you have today, would you be able to open up a laboratory in today's age and be able to, grow it?
Yeah, come on, that's a loaded question.
Oh, it's not a loaded question, because if you think about it, that's what we need.
You're asking me, could I open a lab and make it successful and run it? I believe to own a lab today, you have to be open to change and you have to be changing. Interesting thing, one thing when I worked there that he taught me was that you go in, just tell them it's simple. It's price, quality, and service. Pick two because you don't get all three. Well, I can assure you from running this business today, it's all three.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have to be able to not only give them the price, the service is vital.
Yep.
And the quality is second to nothing else out on the market. You
And
have to be able to do that.
And
I'm
just
going
to
to avoid your question.
No,
because there's a lot of labs that'll watch this and they'll say, "Oh, he's arrogant." No, I'm confident about.
No. Listen, I know you, bro. And when you take on a task, you go all in. You know what I mean? I mean, that's one thing that we have in common. That's the way I look at things too. And to go back, it's not really a loaded question. It basically comes down to is what I'm seeing with my, with my peers, that you're seeing, companies approach, the laboratories these days, and they want to sell them. I mean, they want to buy them. And what you're seeing in our industry today is that everything is sort of like shrinking, but our industry is actually booming. Right? There's a lot of business out there to have. But what happens is that that's the missing piece. The missing piece is the know-how, the know-how. Hold on. Sorry, I forgot to turn this off. I know, dog.
My phone's over there on vibrate.
Yeah. I totally forgot that it was even in my pocket. But going back to what we were talking about, right? No, but in reality, you have to have that game plan, right? You have to have, who you are. I'll add one piece to the puzzle that I took on, which what you said about what you used to sell when it came to your uncle's lab, that partnership, right? If you don't have the partnership with your doctors, then a lot of times that's where the failures kind of come in. The laboratories want to go in and say, yeah, my quality is better, my service is better, my whatever is better. But if they're looking at it only from one direction as, okay, the price and the service, well, there's a lot of laboratories out there that will give you price, they'll give you service. But if I don't create that initial partnership with that office and understand how they work and I understand how I work, then we become partners.
That's it.
And that's it.
You have to become strategic partners.
Exactly. But that's the next level. Partner, right. Then strategic partners. Exactly. And that's how you keep that business growing with that doctor, because you have to teach them, sometimes the education that Some doctors might not know materials. Some doctors might not know this, might not know that. But if you're behind the bench, how are you taking the time to sort of partner up with them and tell them, hey, come on over. I'm having a study club. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then that's how you create that, as you said, the strategic partnership.
Yes.
Between you and that. It's not really a client. It's a partner.
I think that looking at it, some of the people that are just price for you, what price.
Yeah.
Those would just be a partner.
Yeah.
You're looking for that next level.
Yeah.
That you can help grow.
Yeah.
It's simple. In reality, it ends with the patient.
There you go. And that partnership, because you're basically catering to the same person.
Yes.
I mean, to the same customer.
Yes.
Right. And if you don't have that partnership together, then that's when it becomes, to be honest, that's when it becomes, hey, listen, I got this laboratory, I got this fire that is $1 cheaper. Now I'm going to go this way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's what I've seen throughout the years. I used to think to myself when I was young, that I was a good salesman. This is the truth. Back in the day, when my dad one day said to me, okay, son, you're going to get yourself a tie. I didn't even know how to do a tie at the time, right? I was like 18 years old or whatever. And he said to me, here, so he's putting on the tie. He's showing me how to put the tie on. I'm like, getting out there. And I have my little briefcase. I put my, my stuff in there. And I thought I was a good salesman because I was able to walk in and as I was talking to the doctor, that I would always lead with the next, so how much are you paying for your crown? And then the next thing you know, that doctor would look at me and go, well, I'm paying, 60, 70 or whatever the price was. And the first thing I would think to myself is, well, I'll do it for X amount. And then when I come back, I'd be all proud looking at my dad. Yeah, Dad, I got 2 accounts and this and that. in reality, all I was really doing was not creating a partner,
Just
bringing in somebody that was going to use this for a little while, maybe save some money, and then that was gone.
so
And that taught me.
so basically you were a salesman.
Well, it all depends, right? Because that's where I sit there and I say,
You were a salesman without a business.
yeah,
You.
exactly. I didn't. My goal was simple. My goal was I walk out there and I was trying to bring as many accounts as I could. And now as a young pup at 18, 19, 20 years old, I didn't know the difference because I didn't get a book from my dad, right? My dad was kind of like, hey, this is how you do it. Get out there, knock on doors. The more you knock on doors, bring us, and this is how we're going to do it. Just the same way that my dad only knew how to get behind the bench and work. That's it. He didn't think about the future. He didn't think about, growing a laboratory. He didn't think about it. He envisioned, hey, I'm going to grow the laboratory by bringing in a lot of work, but never, okay, so what are we going to do next year? What are we going to do? There was no game plan. It was more or less, I know how to work. I know how to sit behind the bench and let's work.
That's a whole different lifestyle.
Yep.
Than today. You still have to sit here and you still
yeah.
have to work. You're just working in a different way.
In a different way.
Different answers.
Yeah. No, exactly. So I didn't want to,
Yeah, no, that's all right.
It wasn't even that bad of a question. It was all right.
What?
But going back to my question,
Yeah.
I honestly think that knowing how you do things, I think that you would take it and you would kill it. You know what I mean? Because you would figure out a way, and take it on.
Thank you.
That's what I think. But so what about you said that you've gone down, the path. When did you go from your dad's lab to your next?
That was DPL, by the way.
Oh.
That was the name of it. So I was there for 14 years and I went to Shofu.
Oh.
And I worked there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked there for 5 years. When I started, they were up by the Bay Area and then in Silicon Valley.
Oh, nice.
And then the president at the time sold the building up there and moved it down here to San Marcos, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was there and I did lab, but I also did clinical with that too. And
would you like better, clinical or lab?
oh, they used to have a shade taking device, and I was good at selling that. And so I did that and I learned, I just learned. That was my first taste of real corporate world. And, you learn things as you go. It's a continual trail of learning. So I was there for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then in 2005, I started with Sirona.
Yep. That's when I met you.
And that's where I met Norbert Ulmer.
Yeah.
And I started out just with a territory.
That's where I met you. I remember because, one of the things that like, as we're sitting here talking, like you just said something that to me was super duper important when you said you just sort of learned the corporate world and you're doing this. I had never even known what, corporate world was really about. Right.
Yeah.
And so, Sirona in a lot of ways, when all of a sudden I decided to take that digital plunge, I ran into a community, right? That's what I ran into. I didn't know that. I was always behind the bench. Like my dad used to tell me back in the day, he's like, when we would get the LMT, book, we would open up that LMT book. Once we would open it up, he would get all this information and he would look at me and I'd be like that. Hey, let's go down to LMT. He's like, we don't have time, but I got all the information right here in this book right here. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, my first outing into what I consider the business world was when I met Sirona. I mean, when I met you guys, I met you, I met Norbert, and all of a sudden you guys had this community that you guys grew and built. And that was, to me, was impressive because
it was very,
it was. And what was so cool about that too, is that you guys showed me, when I sit here and I say that you were a mentor, I truly believe it because I remember, even the first time that we ever met, right? It was, we were going to do an event, right? And you told me, you kind of looked at me, right? You were like, who is this guy? And I love to talk. I've always been, so I just want to get in there. And you just kind of like looked at me because you had just met me, but you knew all the KOLs. You had all of them. You knew all of them. And all of a sudden you just kind of said to me, yeah, so this is a big day for my rep. So let's get this done. And I thought to myself, wow, wait, this is all of a sudden now we're talking like a whole new level. Like now it's like we're going from to business. And that was the first time that I had ever experienced that in my life, right? And you brought that to me, but then I understood it because we were there for a reason.
I'm probably the most misunderstood person out there.
I would say, yes.
People look at me and they think, oh, yeah.
It's
But
true.
then they think, well, if he can do it, anybody can.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. You got to do what you got to do because I'm not gonna lie. You know, I didn't understand you because every time we were together, you know, like it was what it was. It was a serious, hey, this is business. You know, we need to basically grow this community, and it was kind of like you sort of showed me that when it comes to business, you better have that plan. And we're here for a reason. Let's get this going. Let's make this happen. But at the same time, be yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's what I loved about it because I've been a KOL for other companies where they want you to sit there and they want you to sign this or sign that.
Yeah.
And what I loved about, you know, Sirona and you guys, because let's just say not so much Sirona, I would basically say you guys, because you guys were the ones who actually created that community, that I was able to be myself. And you one time you told me, hey, if you like what you've purchased and you love it, just share it. Yeah. And that's what I did. And that's how we first met. And I think you guys did a great job, you know, back in the day, you know. How many years were you there?
Was it, I think it was 16 years after, 3 years after the merger.
Wow.
And I think Sirona was an excellent company.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs ran it. And it was an entrepreneur company.
There you go.
And you learn a lot. You know, if you're open to learning and not a know-it-all, you learn a lot. And
I love that.
I was able to learn a lot of change. But again, that goes back to your original question about owning a lab. If you're not changing today and open to change, you have to be, listen, change isn't always easy. But somehow you have to work it into the infrastructure to how it, and have the vision to where it's going to work. And yes, be flexible to change it as you go, but change, for lack of a better word, can be good. Yeah. And that, you know, they just had it dialed in, you know, from, I would say from the CEO all the way down, all the way up. It was a pleasure working there. It was a pleasure working with Norbert. Mm-hmm. And we've always had a good, I laugh when I talk about it. I smile because it's just, there's certain people that I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about this stuff if it wasn't for him. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that. And I believe that he just was an excellent leader. You know, I think in that situation, he could strategize really well. And the difference when most people can strategize, but they can't execute. And that's where I shine. I can execute. But now I'm doing everything.
So yeah. So this is the perspective that I could basically give to this. Because remember, I was kind of like an outsider seeing how everything was working. Yeah. And you just nailed it. You just nailed it. Because my perspective from the outside looking in, when I would show up to events or I would be with you guys and stuff like that, like what I saw was there was somebody that was kind of like, I would call him maybe the innovator or the planner or whatever. And I always thought to myself, then you were the executor. And there was no better, team between both of you. That I actually, the very first thing that I did was when I brought in Armando. Yeah, I knew one thing, and all I thought to myself was, I just need to replicate this. I need to replicate, what I'm seeing every single time I'm going somewhere, and I see you and Norbert, right? All I thought to myself was, I need my executor. That's all I want. I want to find that person. And I remember bringing Armando in. And when I brought Armando in, one of the things that I knew about Armando was that he was just a guy that if you told him, hey, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, he saw the vision. And then all of a sudden, he just knew how to execute. And to be honest with you, that I would say that a lot of the success that we've had in our laboratory comes from just watching you and Norbert kind of, do your business.
it was, yeah. Yeah. You know, you can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't execute them,
No.
they're just great ideas.
Exactly.
And I think that was the magic behind it. And
That's awesome.
It turned into a success. But back to Sirona, it was an entrepreneur's company, intrapreneur.
Yeah, intrapreneur.
Whatnot. It was a great company, and the culture of that was there.
Yes.
However, when the merger came in, I personally believe that when the culture came in, they should have taken the Sirona culture.
I agree.
Because what they did is they took the Dentsply culture. They could have been, if they'd taken the Sirona, I believe, and I really believe this, if they would have taken the Sirona culture and kept up with the entrepreneur mindset, they could have been the number one dental company in the world.
And what's interesting is you had a company that was materials, like you said, and then you had a company that was made in heaven. Yeah.
In dental heaven.
Yeah. But if you think about it, that's what you have today.
That's exactly what I have.
Yeah. So you
learn. You learn good and bad. You learn good and bad, you know, and
now you are where you are today.
Yeah.
And I told you this a long time ago when I remember you coming into my laboratory and you kind of told me, hey, this is what, man, I was so proud because I knew that this was going to be like your baby. Now this was your whole entire thing was just going to be, 100% you. Absolutely. And you started with Adite in North America.
Yeah.
And I remember you walking into the office, right? And you were like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it was just only you. And look at this
people,
now.
My people I work with at headquarters, I can't, it's not just me. But
what I'm saying, here in the United States.
And we had a technology director at the time.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But that was it though, over here.
And you were able to now, how many people are with you now?
We're still lean, but here in the States, I have people that run the warehouse up there, I think 5 probably, with Daniel being the branch, Mr. Joe. Bob Hadley, sales manager. He does excellent. Bob is, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm a big culture person.
Yeah.
You have to have the right culture. And that is one thing that I learned over time is the culture is what is a key. It's a big key to success.
Yeah.
And Bob Hadley is, when I worked at Sirona, he started with me there. And
wasn't he from like the wine industry?
He was, and there is still to this day, there's no other person I know in my life that knows more about wine than him. And it's quite impressive. Bob is you and I were talking, I'm a tell me what time it person is. Bob will tear the watch apart and figure it out. Idea. Brilliantly smart. I respect him so much for his intelligence, and Bob and I have a different way of working together, but it's really good that. Yeah. And I have Erica Damana as the marketing director here, and they're excellent. She's excellent. She I kind of just let them. I do. Not kinda. When it comes to marketing, what she says goes.
Yeah.
With me. Then I have Gunnar as account manager, Gunnar Burlington, and he's done excellent. I have Michael Suris as our technology director.
Nice.
In North America. I have Duff Wilson that does stuff with us. It's employed by us, but also has his own lab. And it gives us an opportunity to test stuff before we release it here between him and Mike. So it really works out well, because one thing I didn't want to do is just start bringing stuff over and fail.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're going to have things. It's going to happen. But it's a reassurance that I can look at the customer and tell them, look, we tested it here in a lab.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a doctor, whether it's for a lab, it's been tested and it worked fine.
No, and you get to see like what really happens in a laboratory and all the problems that come along.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, and then you have somebody as like an expert, like Mike Suris and Duff, that basically are lab owners, and they basically know what we need. And so that's what I've noticed. Even when I purchase, I have 2 of your mills and stuff like that, and I have a lot of other stuff that you guys bring to the table.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like that's what I like, is because I'm not really just dealing with a company. I'm dealing with a company that is on the same level as I am when it comes to what I need, right? And that's the reality behind what the success is, especially with us working together and stuff. So I really like that. How long did it take you to get to that many people, though, or this many?
Well,
people?
I've only been with the company 4.5 years. I'm going on my 5th year.
Yeah, that's why it's impressive.
But our numbers, our sales are do really well.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that.
Like I said, that's what shows how you basically took it from going back to what I said.
Still lead. That's the beauty of it, because I'm so stupid about P&L.
Yeah, but
we're a little stretched, but that's okay.
What I'm noticing is that you guys are really starting to really push creating, certain things with the scanners, with how, clinical, what we're going to be doing, what you're going to be doing, let's say, with the scanners moving forward, and being able to communicate that with the laboratories. And to be honest with you, that's, if you don't have that, like if we think back, right? You said it perfectly, or I said it, back in when I first came into InLab, right? One of the things that I liked about InLab was the workflow. And so what I'm noticing with your guys' stuff is it's all starting to tie in into that workflow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, in June of 2024, I was over in Shenzhen. We had I went over because we got listed on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
I was there for the bell ringing.
Cool.
And that's cool because Aidite's really committed. Like, they're in it. Yeah. We're in it to win it, to be honest with you. And we realize that, look, there's a lot of countries out there and they do really good things. North America, and this is something technicians here should be proud of, that I see a lot of. They always feel like I'm the redheaded stepchild to the doctor. I call BS on that, because I've traveled the world for Aidite, and I understand that Germany will influence Europe, and other countries will influence different areas. Be proud of what you do sitting at this bench, because it's touching somewhere else, even though you don't know it. Because North America, it influences globally.
Yeah.
It doesn't influence just here. It influences everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's changed over the years, where it's really an influence more and more. Yeah. And I respect that. And that's why I won't sit still when I hear somebody say that. And I'll say, hey man, come on. We're changing things for others in other parts of the world. You might not immediately see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, that's where us lab owners, we need to start looking at that.
Yeah.
We have to.
You have to. And by the way, there's great technicians around the world.
Yes.
And a lot of them are known here and we're known over there. But I mean, on the day-to-day life of working, we influence.
Yep.
And Aidite is committed to the investment in North America, because they also know that North America will influence globally.
So do you see yourself that you're going to be also going, clinical, maybe creating
Absolutely. I believe we'll touch more into the clinical. I believe we have to.
Yeah.
As that's just the next level, because you have to multiply your resources to better predict your success. Bottom line.
My daughter's probably listening, and she's like writing it down.
You just have to. And and thankfully Sirona did that for everybody years ago.
Yeah.
So now it's not a big deal as it was, because there's so many, when you know this more than anyone probably, there's so many avenues of digital dental.
Yeah. There is. 100%.
There's, and I'm not out. I just want to do business.
Yeah.
That's it. And I believe the clinical is a good landscape that we have to do, whether it's simple things as burrs, whether it's blocks, pucks, whatever, I believe our iOSs.
Yeah.
We have to do that to continue to grow. Otherwise you're going to peak.
Yeah.
And that goes back to our earlier conversation about change, you have to be changing.
Exactly. 100%.
However, you do not forget about what got you to that point to there. You have to take it up a notch, notches to service the people that help you get to that point where you can do that.
Yeah.
And that is one thing I'm very good at, is being grateful.
Yeah.
And I am grateful.
But it goes, it's funny that you say this, because it is 100% true. What had the success in the past, I can see it already in some of the things that you're doing, especially with education, because that's what's needed, right? Us lab owners, we need to be educated sometimes in what the latest in technology and how that process is. You have Biomic, for example, right? Biomic was something that, for us, we were doing all on X's, and we were stacking porcelain, and we were doing this, we were doing that, and at the end, all of a sudden, I came in, and when you guys introduced me to Biomic, I was like, okay, now look, there's a simpler way to do it. I had heard about other companies, and we had tried it out and all this stuff. But what I really liked, the simplicity that you guys did with Biomic, how you guys brought that in, and then you kind of simplified it, and then you educated, and you had great, text like, I had Jack, at our podcast, and we do that course with Biomic. Yeah. And I mean, the way that he's able to teach doctors, laboratories on how to use this material is pretty amazing. But again, it's what you guys have brought to the table, plus the education, and plus that simplicity.
Yes, so simple.
It is 100% simple.
So simple.
Yeah.
So it's nice, and that's a nice material, and we have a new Biomic opaque now for implants to block out. So
I saw that. We'll be launching. I didn't even know what that was.
We're gonna be launching that, and it'll be nice. It'll be good. You'll see.
So I saw. I think it was Duff. He was showing it on
Duff.
On social media.
Got a full kit. It's funny. Yeah, you just got.
It's okay. I already know you like Duff better than me, but it's okay. It's all right.
Well, Duff works for the company.
Oh, I forgot.
Let's just be clear on that, Frank.
So if he says that, then Frankie won't get it. I get it.
No, I'm sorry I didn't bring any with me.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know what it is. I just saw the video, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, because he was showing it, and it was going back and forth. But listen, at the end right now, I'm not even the one in my laboratory now that actually says yay or nay to materials anymore. I bring it in, I talk to my techs, and then all of a sudden they look at me and they say, I want this, or I don't want that. And so that's how it has to be. Because if I all of a sudden go in there and say, no, you guys have to use this, then I got a disgruntled group, and I don't want that. I just want everything to go smooth.
You want a culture.
Yes, exactly. I want a culture.
Not a disgruntled culture.
No. Because that's the part that sucks, right? And like I said, that's a lot of these things that we're even talking about. That's what I basically learned from you guys, and especially you, is I'll say it again. There's certain ways to do business, even if you're a lab owner. A lab owner, it's that certain culture. I was just having a conversation with a lab in North Carolina. He had just bought ExoCAD from Grow3X, so we were training him, and so we just had this conversation, and he looks at me and he's like, and so we're set up that we are able to do everything online. And so I'm able to see him. I have cameras in our education center, so he's able to see like different areas. And then I'm able to just kind of show him exactly what to do. Well, one of the questions he said to me was, he said, look, I just, this is my first venture into, digital. And he said, I'm kind of just scared. Not scared as in he was scared, but he was just like, I know it's going to be a process. And I need to learn this process. And so he bought ExoCAD. Now he basically, I'm spending I think 4 hours a day. I gave him like 4 hours for the next like couple weeks. And we go slow, because he's never even, he's never done it. He's always set up teeth and this and that. First thing I did was I introduced him to the Adite, cloud-based design service.
Oh, thank you.
Right? No, I did.
Thank you very much.
And the reason why is because I look at it two different ways, right? I kind of look at it in my laboratory. It's kind of like, I wanted, where my technicians or my designers stop because they have to go home to their families and stuff like that, right? And they got lives outside of here. Then all of a sudden they're able to just kind of look at their desk, and if they have a bunch of cases, then they push that forward, and then by the next day it comes back, from the Adite Cloud Design Service the very next day. So I can see that he was struggling, right? Now think about it like this. He purchased, the first thing, he's like, I've done dentures, I've done partials the old-fashioned way, or as I consider the old-fashioned way. A lot of people will look at it and be like, no, that's what I do today. Yeah. No, I look at it because, we're just digital, period. And so what's kind of funny about that is that I'm watching him and I can see that, he's doing it, right? But I can also think back and think to myself, if he all of a sudden gives up because he gets frustrated because it takes him, let's say, too long to design something, what he's going to do? He's under the gun. He has to get that case out. First thing he's going to do is just revert to analog, right? And I can kind of see it, but I don't want him to because I want him to embrace digital. And so that's the first thing I thought. I go, there's no reason, even though it's going to take him a while to design, but there's no reason for him not to print a denture. And then with the expertise that he has as a dental technician, that part was simple for him. He was printing, boom, he was putting it together. He's like, whoa, man, this is awesome. The part where he was struggling was the design. Yeah. And so that's where I introduced him to that. How's that doing here?
That's doing excellent. And it's funny, I use you as an example because that has to be one of the best business models I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Is you, and I've used it, Frank, and I should have asked you first.
No, it's okay. You can say whatever.
I just
now it's public.
Beg for What do you say? You let your techs design until 3.
Yep.
After that, anything after 3 goes to the design service.
Yep.
That is a recipe for success in my eyes.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I've done the math, right?
Cut it off right at 3.
Yeah, I've done the math. The math basically tells me that if I have, when you go into the laboratory, you have your sections where you have, all your pans, right? And so as the cases are coming in digitally, they're just, making a pan, putting it in whatever designers, because I have my All-on-X designers, I have, my Crown and Bridge designers, I have, my treatment planning designers, I have surgical, so I have 6 designers total. Right. So if you start thinking about it, at what point, can I look at that table or that row of designers and say to myself, okay, I guess I'm going to have to buy another computer. I'm going to have to buy ExoCAD because in our laboratory, because if we're claiming that, all digital all the time, right? We have to have 3Shape. We have to have ExoCAD. We have to have InLab. We have to have CEREC. Like we have co-diagnostics. I mean, I look at my bills sometimes. I'm like, well, I don't even know. Even though some of them we don't use, but we do have to cater to those doctors. Well, if I look at that, right, I look at that and I say, okay, so if I'm backed up, I have to buy a computer, buy software, find the tech that knows how to design, when at the end, I already have them. So now all of a sudden they become sort of like their own little managers. You said something to me many, many years ago that I used to love when you said to me about your sales team. It's their own little business.
Absolutely.
Number one.
Absolutely.
That you said to me back when I met you
when you hire them, they have just got their own AA franchise.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And if you're, I would go farther to say, if they don't believe that and you let them believe that and they don't believe it, then you've got the wrong employee. Because to grow your business, you have to be thinking like that. Your employees have to think like
the same way.
Yeah. Look, that's why I say with Bob, Bob's got his own French. Gunner's got his. Erica's got hers. This is it. And I'm here to help wherever I can. Michael has his, the technology part. Yeah. Duff has his with the technology part. Bob Fort. It's all, look, I can't do it all.
Yeah.
I need smart people with me.
Yeah. And to go back to even that other, the other part, right? Because you can't do it you can't do it yourself. But one of the things that was really, really important to me was, how many, I've had techs, I've only lost one employee.
Wow.
One.
It's impressive.
In the past, we opened up this laboratory in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was because he just retired. That was that, right?
Yeah.
But most of my employees, they basically know, or most of my techs, they know that I want to grow my business. And as long as I grow my business, I will go back to my Tom, what Tom told me many years ago. Hey, this is part of your business. So the way that I go back to my designers is I tell them, hey, you want to manage? That's your next level, right? I'm a designer. I'm going there every single day. I'm just designing. okay, what better for them to learn how to manage than to manage their own team of designers?
And they've got that.
Boom.
At ADAC.
That's it. That's the way that's the way I look at it.
And the beauty of it is there's no benefits involved with those other employees. There's no.
Then there's that.
And well, I mean, it's
a fair price.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's consistent. I'm not saying that you get it back and you mill it and put it or print it. I'm saying you get it back and quality control it.
And that's where you grow the managers, right?
Exactly.
Because that's where I tell every single one of them, I look at them and I say, listen, I'm not here to tell you, because I'm not going to be over their shoulder and looking at them and saying, I need you to design, 10 all-on X's a day. I mean, because to be honest with you, they might be buzzing through it and the quality might not be there because all of a sudden they got that pressure. My whole thing is that use what you have, which is your designers, and now learn how to communicate with them so that when it comes back,
yes,
it comes back nice. Because the one thing that I learned throughout the years of using design services is you have that mentality. I'm just going to upload it. It's going to come back and I'm going to mill it. And that mentality has to go. Expectations. So once we start that expectation or we look at that and sort of say, well, wait a second. No. Because if all of a sudden, let's say one of my designers has that mentality, well, then that's what it becomes. Well, then what's going to happen next? The people that actually manufacture the stuff that comes out of the mills, now they're looking at me going like, oh, look at this design. This sucks. Oh, I got to grind. I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, that's because the expectation is I'm going to send it. It's going to come back and it's going to be ready. No.
You have to set expectations. That's one thing about the design service. And I want to just mention, the man that runs the design service in our cloud, he's so customer focused and just wants to service the customer with it and make it the best thing. Listen, it's come a long way. Yeah. And Duff, to me, is I credit him for starting to use it. Look, it just makes sense. Gives me Fridays off, whatever, it's really helped my workflow.
It helps you grow.
And it helps me grow. Yeah. And then I got to thinking about it more and how I wanted to utilize it over here. Well, imagine then if I had dealers that would sell it.
Yeah.
And imagine if the dealers would prioritize the Adite zirconia users.
Yeah. It's just one value after the next.
One value after the next. Yeah. It's creating its own little workflow.
Yeah.
So I have a big vision for it, and I still do. And I tell Dude when I'm over there at headquarters that you are going to end up being the center of this company. I really do believe that our cloud will end up being the center of our dental ecosystem.
Yep. No, my laboratory, even today, designing is a big thing. We design for doctors chairside.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, while the patient's sitting in the chair, they set it up with us and we design. So that also, your service, to be honest with you, your service gives me the ability to use my designers for those kind of services.
Absolutely.
Now, when the doctor calls me up and says, hey, I got a surgery, I need you to do this all on X. Well, I'm not worried that I'm going to take one of my best designers that's going to be able to, because I have the backup plan.
Right.
And that's how you
they can focus on that right now. Exactly. And then at 3:00,
boom, let's go.
What's not done, it goes over there.
And
it really light bulbed me. Like it was a light bulb. Like, whoa, I'm missing it here. This is the next level stuff here because it will. I guess
it's part of that digital change, right?
Exactly, and it is just a light bulb. And first, again, Duff brought it to my attention, and then as I started,
Duff wants to go play with his alligators in the back.
Oh my gosh, bless his heart, him and Kim. Bless their heart. All right. Anyway, but they're so good to me. They're
awesome.
They're very good to me. They've been very good
100%.
to me, and I have a lot of respect for them. That said, then it just started marinating in my head. See, that's what others don't have, Frank. They don't have a me.
They don't have a you. Exactly. There.
all in, baby.
It's just
look, I work all day. My second position starts at night when I'm on the phone with headquarters.
Yeah.
I go hard, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
I won't. I feel like I'm living my best life building this with 8-8.
So you think, so at the end, I'll ask you this and you can answer it. So you think that the decision that was made moving on, sometimes you were, because I'm sure you weren't thinking about, 8-8 when you made that move,
Until 8-8 reached out to me, I'd never heard of 8-8.
Oh, wow.
4 and a half, whatever it was, 5 years in December.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of 8-8. And today?
Yeah, everybody knows.
Because I have a good team?
Yep. Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's true, because I didn't know 8-8 until...
Just, and it's nothing against them. They have great products, and they had, Fiona was over here. She would come over and work, her and Joe and Sarah, and they would go hard. And you know what, Fiona... Bob and I worked with Fiona earlier on, and she's involved in other aspects of the business now at 8-8, still with us and still growing. And, I've learned a lot. I've learned all positive, by the way, I've learned, and I think one of the things that helps with our success, a lot of people that work for companies in China don't show the same success that we've shown. And I've come down to it as one of my gifts is the translational organization lockup together.
All right, you lost me. What does that mean?
Well, it's being able to work with other people in other countries and bring them together as a team.
Gotcha. Yeah, cultures.
Cultures.
And then creating a new culture.
Because it is, and respectfully, it is a different culture. Just like respectfully, it's a different culture here. So you need that person to be able to bring those together and bond them together and be able to work together and grow.
Yeah, that's the question that, would then become the question, right? Is, with the success that you had or have, and probably will continue to have, it was that perfect person that was the executor, the one that understood, that took the time to sort of create that culture.
Yeah.
And you're learning. I mean, if you think about it, like I said, along the way, you learned it from your Sirona days to all of a sudden two cultures coming in and all of a sudden not meshing. Let's just say that.
Let's say it wouldn't mesh.
Maybe and then all of a sudden you're sort of, now moving on to this, and you were that perfect person to be able to grab it and sort of mesh it all together. Yeah. And then continue. Yeah. No, and I see it. Like I said, I've seen
not only do I love the people here that I work with, I love them over. It's like when I go to 8-8, seriously, it is, I have two families. Yeah. That's the bottom line. I have my family in South Carolina. Yeah. My family that I've had. That's a whole nother family. Yeah. And I love and care about them, but
that has never changed. Like I said, ever since I met you from the very beginning, you would always also say that even about us.
If you commit,
yes,
and I did, and I do, Frank. You know that.
I know.
I do.
I know it 100%.
Question, but you've got to commit to stuff and see it through. Yes, you can make changes along the way. Yeah, but you've got to commit, and I've committed. Like I want this.
And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And I keep saying this, and I know you always look at me and you say, no, you're joking. That's basically what made me thrive in even growing my laboratory, because that's what I wanted. I wanted that commitment that, hey, this is the team that I'm going to create around me. And I learned that from you, Norbert, from those days, because I didn't know. I know you have your opinion about the E-Myth, right? And so
it's not a bad opinion.
No, it's not a bad opinion, but you have your opinion. Yeah. But in reality, if I was presented, let's say, the E-Myth book today, I would have a different opinion than what I had when I first got it, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, definitely 100%. And I get it. And I understand it 100% because I understand it today. I got to basically go back to when all of a sudden I opened up my laboratory, and all of a sudden the next thing I know, I was onto something, because back in the day, Norbert showed up and said, hey, you know what? You guys are like competing neck to neck with Glidewell when it comes to, Sarah Connects.
Yeah.
And we kind of took it on early. That was like our thing.
That was impressive too, by the way.
It was. It was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I had no idea what I was doing.
But it motivated you.
Yeah, motivated me. There you go. Because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. All I knew was
a little competition, Frank. It motivates me.
No, it did. It did motivate me. But I didn't know how to organize my thoughts, if that makes sense, right? Because all I knew is I was having success in being able to. I was having success in being able to go after these CEREC doctors, right? And so then I'm having success. I'm teaching them how to stain and glaze. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And along the way, they're sort of looking at me as the partner. Hey, when I don't want to do this chairside, I'm going to send it to Frankie back in the day, right? That's when we came out with all CEREC all the time, and we did this and we did that. And the thing that really, again, when I sit there and I think back to these things, right? You sent my daughter a couple books, or you told her, yeah, because my daughter just graduated from San Diego State for business and marketing and stuff like that. So I brought her on into the company, and I told her, hey, now you're gonna retire me, all right? But at the end,
I hope so.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
She's a very confident young lady.
She's right there. I'm hoping. Yes. Yeah, right there. Yeah. But in reality, I go back to that moment. I remember I knew I was onto something because I was going digital and I was trying to stick strong to change, because the change of my laboratory going from analog to all of a sudden in 2015, sending out a message to all my clients that said, if you don't have a scanner, I'm sorry, you have to find a new lab. And people were like, what? I mean, I remember my family looked at me, what just happened? Oh, I don't know. All I know is that I decided that the only way to succeed in digital was to more or less say, look, I'm not accepting analog no more. And our business went from here to like here the very next month. I mean, I went crazy. It was like,
you're sweating.
Oh, dude, I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? I remember, going to my family and say, hey, today, from this day forward, Top Ramen will be your best friend. You know what I mean? But what kept me going was that all of a sudden I thought to myself, like, holy crap, like I'm competing against, a juggernaut in our industry. And I'm sort of like, here. Now, eventually what happened was I got blown away, right? But.
Did you though?
Well,
did you?
I don't know if.
What do you mean blown away?
Blown away, I would say it like this, blown away by numbers.
There's different blown away.
Yes, exactly. Let's just say numbers. They receive a lot more CEREC Connects.
Did you hit your goals?
I did. I hit my goals.
So, you didn't get blown away.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. See,
you succeeded.
Always giving me knowledge. Yeah, but the thing is that if we sit there and we think about it, like I was so confused because in my eyes, change was hitting like the reality of now, oh my God, like I have to grow this business now. Now I got to basically continue to do that. And Norbert sent me a book because I had reached out to him and I was like, hey, I just don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I kind of don't know because again, so I get this book and it was easy, E-Myth. And it was very simple. It was very simple for me. And before we started this podcast, right, I heard you and my daughter talking about those books. and I brought up the E-Myth, and then you said to me, well, I have my opinion. But I will say that my opinion at the time, for somebody that did not understand or know business, right, it opened up my eyes and gave me clarity.
And that's what you needed.
Yeah. And when we talk about those kind of books, you recommended a couple books for my daughter, and which are those?
It's Your Ship. I remember they gave it out at Serona one year.
Oh yeah.
And
I didn't even know.
It's Your Ship.
And I looked for the audio.
And that's why I tell you it's a great read, but that's why I tell you that each one of my people that I work with have their own franchise. Basically, they own their own business because
that's important.
One thing that I've been able to do, I don't know if it's a gift, maybe, that I see things in people that maybe others don't. And then you build on that.
Yeah.
And you bring that out of them and you just.
Yeah. Because if you can't find it, then that's when it gets a little,
And you gotta, sometimes you've got to look through, and you just do it. And the other one is, think how full is your bucket, and are you filling people's buckets, or as Nikki said, or am I dipping into their bucket?
Yeah.
And I just believe that, I'd rather fill someone's bucket.
Yeah.
And because you feel good about it afterwards, so your bucket is automatically full.
Yeah.
It sounds really
no, but it's true.
But I believe these things.
Yeah.
And I believe it because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I've lived it. So
But those are the things that, like, I always sit there and I say, and every time I say it, you kind of, you joke around. There were so many little nuggets that you gave me along the way to help me, grow, and
I appreciate it.
And I sit here and I say, whenever somebody asks me, right, that just the person that I was just teaching, he said to me, man, you're going to be a great mentor. And I love that, because if it wasn't for my mentors, I cannot be a mentor to, lab owners or to whoever, they ask of me to help them. Hey, how did you grow this? Or how did you do this? How did you do that? But to go back to my original mentors, I always say, I had you, I had Norbert, I had Sasha. Sasha taught me a shitload about, branding, right? I'll never forget, we were flying. My name, basically, he created my logo, my name on a flight to Mexico, right?
That's funny.
And he did it literally 10 minutes. Yeah. And he gave me a brand. He gave me, what my core, what I believed in. Like, he just broke it down. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, wow, that was cool. And I understood it that way. I didn't go to school. Like, my daughter, all of a sudden she looks at me like, hey, Dad, it's called X, Y, and Z, because she goes to school. And now all of a sudden she knows all the phrases for me in business. Yeah. I learned business the hard way in the streets and watching.
But that's respectful too, Frank.
No, it is, because at the end, it's about paying attention. And I go back to those days when I would watch you and I would watch that.
Like, you have to have mentors. You have to have
That's true.
people that see things that you don't see, or
gotta open your
see
mind.
it in a different way.
Exactly.
Because even if you don't go with what they say, if you take something from that mentor, one thing, and add it to yours, or it just comes together.
It does, 100%.
Mentors today. I will never be without mentors, probably.
Yeah.
It embarrasses me when people call me a mentor, and just like, I get this from some of my boss. I'm like, I want to be a leader.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. I don't want to be a boss.
Yeah.
The days I have to be a boss, it tells me, or a manager, are the days that I hired the wrong person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my fault. So I want to be a leader. And when mentor and boss to me, or mentor and leader to me, that's just natural. Yeah. That's just a natural thing for me. It's not it embarrasses me to be called that.
No, sometimes
it's just a natural, like when you say that, it embarrasses me, because it's just like natural to me, to the things I suggest or say.
Yeah. You just say it. Yeah. You do.
Natural.
No, 100% true. I'm a big believer here at the lab. Like, sometimes when I see somebody fail, I don't think of it as like, oh my God, you know what? I can't believe you did this and that. The first question I ask myself is, okay, did I train that person correctly? Did I, because, in the digital world, everything moves fast, right? Boom, boom, boom. One day this is happening. The next day this is happening. And then all of a sudden, they're giving an answer to a client or to a partner of ours, a doctor. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, that's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
But then I have to question myself, which means, well, wait a second, did I do my job right?
Yeah.
As you just said,
as
the leader,
or
as the mentor, or whatever it is. And then I think to myself, like, wow, and to go back, to that, I will say it again, to answer what you said a little while ago. I think that decisions, right? When we talk about making decisions and changing and stuff like that, I want to hit on this because I think this is important. Without that decision of you, because I've had conversations way back when I would ask you, and you would say, I'm going to be here until forever. Like, you used to love that culture.
Yeah, I did.
You were in it to win it. And what was cool is that if you think about going backwards, if that decision wasn't made, that you left, right? Then you wouldn't have what you have today. Because today, that decision made what it is today. And so that's important for us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as lab owners, as whatever you want to call us, those decisions that we have to make, because we can sit behind the bench, right? I've seen it, right? My dad, think about it. I've said it 1,000 times. My dad had a heart attack sitting at the bench at 10 o'clock, and it was like 10:15, he had a heart attack, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he goes, I come in, now I'm sitting at his desk, I'm quality control, I'm doing all the cases, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, while he's taking care of what he needs to take care of in his health. And I have to make a decision at that moment and sort of say like, wait. I just saw my whole life just right before my eyes. This is where I'm going to end up.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, but
it's a thing.
But it's a thing. Exactly. It's a thing. All of a sudden my dad comes back, and because my dad has always been that proud dental technician that, you have to basically do it a certain way. Like, there was no room for scaling sometimes, because it didn't matter how many techs we hired. At the end, he was the one. No. This is how it needs to be. And after suffering that heart attack, and all of a sudden being gone, I would think that he would have brought in some change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what did he do? He comes right back, kind of like pushes me aside. Hey, I'm back in the table, and I'm doing the same exact thing. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself like, oh, wait a second. How? No. I just saw my whole life flash in front of me. I want change. I want to learn business. If I'm going to stay in the dental field, I want it to be, if I'm going to continue in the dental lab, I'm going to learn everything I can about, business, because there has to be another way,
I believe that to be true. And that was just respectfully, that was a business model that your father knew.
Yeah, exactly. It was a business model, 100%.
But as time came and everything's evolved and gone in different directions, if you weren't changing, you were losing. Your father knew how to work.
Exactly.
Respectfully, Frank.
100%. No, I understand it, because
and you still have to work.
You still have to work. You got to work hard
every day.
Every day.
I want to go to bed. I go to bed at night. I wake up. I go to bed looking forward to waking up and going to do this.
Oh, exactly.
And it's a different mindset that work like that.
Yeah.
But had you not
seen that and done that,
made that change, and looked into the future. And yeah.
Because at the end, as a lab,
it's nothing against your father.
No, nothing at all. No, my dad. No. But it's the truth though, because if we go down to the mom and pop's labs, right, you see the same thing. And you see the same exact thing where, hey, this is not. What are you talking about? What do you mean we're gonna go digital? Oh, what do you mean we're gonna mill a crown? What? No. Or we're gonna what, dentures? Are you kidding me? Have you seen the quality of dentures? And then you kind of like get involved in that. And to be honest, that's my dad, because he believed that these hands that he had were the ones that built the laboratory, which is 100% true.
It's 100% true.
But then you have to ask yourself, and it goes back to that E-Myth, situation, right? The E-Myth sort of looked at me and said to me, what is it that you want to be? Do you want to be that business owner? Do you want to create a hobby for yourself? Do you want to create a job for yourself? What is it that you want to do? And I was a proud dental technician since I was 16 years old. But at the end, I now, because of certain situations that happened that I needed to get out, as you got out of your situation and all of a sudden created this one, I had to do the same exact thing, because I looked at it kind of like, okay, what do I want to be? Well, I want to be a businessman now, right? That's what I want to be. I'm still a dental technician. I can still get down on the bench and do my thing, and maybe not as good as I used to, but bottom line is that I can still do my thing. But now I love waking up every single morning and just thinking, okay, so in the next year, how am I going to grow? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it?
That's the beauty of the book.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome about it.
Working on the business, not in it.
Exactly. There you go.
I mean, it's just, it's still, even though you believe that and you live it, you still have to get back involved.
Every once in a while.
There's not a time. Listen, I spend my time with the fire coat on, putting out fires, and then with a broom cleaning up messes.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, you know?
I just did a roundhouse case the other day, and nobody knows.
See, and I will say this, and I told Nikki this, and she laughs. Business is nothing more than a layer cake.
I love that.
That's it. It's a layer cake. Life, business, it's a layer cake. You work yourself through the cake to get to that little layer of frosting. You get to breathe, you get to enjoy it a minute, but then to go to the next level, you got to go through another layer cake.
Yeah, until you get
layer. And your ultimate business view is to hit to the outside icing on the cake, which, it's in your head what that icing on the cake would be for you.
Yeah.
To me, I'm going to keep digging in that cake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep working myself through the layers to get to it. But I believe that just simplifies business right there. So, and I heard that in a movie or something, but it really just made sense right there. That cut through all the bullshit right there.
It did.
So you work through the layers
until you get to where you want to
top.
Yeah. And I love it because my daughter, she came up to me. She's like, "Hey, this is what Tom said to me." And all of a sudden I'm like, "Wow, okay. Well, that's true. 100%.
And if you look at it, a layer cake can be many things. It can be the things you deal with from day to day, the fires that you put out, the janitor work that you do, the leadership that you do for your team, the growing pains that I've experienced, you've experienced. That's just all part of these are things you have to do in business to get to that next level.
100%.
There's always a next level, man. That's what I love about life and business. Always another level. What did I used to say? I said, let's take it to the next level. And that's what we're doing at 8i.
Yeah.
We're disrupting the market.
I love it.
We're putting the eyes on us. And we just keep moving forward with it.
That's
taking
awesome.
it to another layer of the layer cake.
Because I know that you got some cool things on the horizon.
Yeah. And I think the full arches that's all the buzz too.
It is.
So
100%. That's our growth. Last year we grew. I mean,
we've
just
got the
in
great
full
products
arches.
for it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what's coming. And to be honest with you, my friend, like I said, it's always a pleasure.
Always.
I'm very happy that you came.
I feel honored that you asked me to do this.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I appreciate you and your family more than you'll ever know, probably.
Like I said, hey, thank you. All right.
Nikki, she's going to take over.
I hope so.
She's going to own it.
I'm going to do this all full time now.
That's it.
You can hear it in the background right there.
Frank, I'm proud of what you've created, and you are the definition under change.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like I said,
go back to where we started.
Yeah, exactly.
You are.
No, thank you.
Hats off to you.
All right, brother. I'll see you.
All right.